Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to learn Agile from the scratch. If you are preparing for the software testing interviews, working as a fresher, or just starting your IT career, so this video will help you to understand Agile. By the end of this video, you will know what Agile is and how Scrum works, what happens in every sprint, and some common interview questions. So this is what we will cover today's. First, we'll understand why Agile was introduced. Then, we will learn what is Agile, what Scrum means, what are the Scrum team roles, what is sprint planning meeting, and how daily stand-ups, what is product backlog, and we'll see the real-time example and some interview questions. So, why Agile? So, before Agile, most of the companies followed the Waterfall model. So, if you use the Waterfall model, what will happen? So, the customer gives all the requirements at the beginning. So the development team works for several months and finally deliver the product. The problem was the customer often changes the requirement during the development, making the changes at the end became most expensive and more time consuming. So to solve these problems, Agile was introduced. Agile allows the teams to deliver software in a small parts and quickly adapt to the changes. So now in previous video we discussed if we use the waterfall model and V&V model, what will happen. So if we use that, customer can't change the requirement at any time. So if the customer changes the requirement, so we'll face the lot of problem. So to overcome all the drawbacks which was there in the waterfall model and V&V model, we'll come up with the agile model. So what is agile? So Agile is an iterative software development methodology. So instead of building the complete application at once, developers build the small features. Testers test it and customers provide the feedback. So improvements are made and it will repeat the cycle. So this helps deliver the better quality software and faster. So what does Agile mean? So there are two important words in Agile. One is incremental and iterative. So first we'll discuss what is incremental. So incremental means developing the software in small features instead of one huge application. For example, in Amazon, if you take login is one feature, search is another feature, and payment is another feature. So we are not going to develop all the features at a time. First we are going to develop the login feature, and then so based on the customer feedback, we are going to develop the search feature and then payment feature. So second is the iterative. So iterative means consistently improving the product based on the customer feedback. So based on the customer feedback, so we will improve the software quality. So in Agile, we have the 4 important meetings. So we will discuss one by one in detail in this video. So first meeting is the Scrum meeting. So it is a group of engineers working towards completing committed features or stories. So generally Scrum team will have the 5 to 10 people, which includes the share team and core team members. So share team includes the architect, business analyst, network admin, database admin, product owner. So core team includes the Scrum master, development engineers and test engineers. Scrum team leads this entire Scrum team and he facilitates everyone to complete their task. So next meeting is the product backlog. So it is a prioritized list of stories or tasks that has to be developed in order to complete that product. So generally product owner, business analyst, architect and also scrum master involved while building it. So generally stories in the product backlog need not to be in detail. So mainly in the product backlog means we will identify what are the high level features. For example, if you see here login, sign up, payment, search, order, profile. So these are the main features. So in the product backlog, we will just identify the main features. And the next meeting is the sprint planning meeting. So here entire Scrum team sit together and pull the stories from the product backlog. So what are the main stories we discussed in the product backlog? So those features we will discuss here in detail. So Scrum Master assign each story to the developers and test engineers. Now each engineer will derive the task to be completed to build each story. So each engineer should estimate the time to complete their task. So generally sprint planning meeting should be completed within 8 hours. So 2 hours per sprint. So next meeting is the stand-up meeting. So here enter the Scrum team. That means this meeting completely done by the Scrum Master. So here every engineer should explain what they have done yesterday and what are the impediments they have faced yesterday. So impediments in the sense as a problems. What are the problems they faced yesterday? So what are the activities and what they are planning to do today? What are the impediment in order to complete the today's work? So here Scrum Master try to solve all the certain impediments right in the meeting itself. If it is taking too much of time, then Scrum Master note it down in the impediment backlog and solve it later. So generally this meeting should be completed within 10 to 15 minutes. This should be conducted in beginning of the day itself. So here everybody should stand in the meeting so that people will talk to the point. So this is about the stand-up meeting. So next meeting is the sprint review meeting. So here Scrum team, the sprint review meeting is the end of the sprint. So engineers will give the demo to the product owner. And here product owner will tell what is done and what is not done. And also they will discuss about the how we need to do the next sprint and what are the things we need to follow for the when we are doing the next sprint. So this is the sprint review meeting. And the last meeting is the sprint retrospective meeting. Here entire Scrum team sit together and sometimes customer also will join. So in this meeting they will discuss about the achievements, what are the achievements they have done and what are the mistakes they have done, and all those things they will document it. The document will called as a retrospective document. So when the next release or next sprint starts, while doing the sprint planning meeting, so they will refer to this document and plan it. So such a way that old mistakes will not be repeated and good activities once again they followed. So this is called as a sprint retrospective meeting. And now we'll discuss about the Agile principles. So our highest priority is the customer satisfaction through quick delivery work piece of software. So customer can change the requirement any stage of the development process. So for example, if you use the waterfall model, customer cannot change the requirement at any time. But in Agile is not like that. So customer can change requirement anytime during the development, during the testing, anytime. So those issues will be not there in the Agile. So release should be very sharp. So every weekly release are some based on the companies. So it is a flexible model. There will be a good communication between the customer, business analyst, development team and testing team. So there will be a lot of meetings between the development team and the testing team in order to improve the process. So in Agile, so based on the company, release might be weekly ones or 2 week ones or monthly ones. So when we are going to release the certain features, so again when we are starting the next sprint, so we'll ask the customer feedback. So based on the customer feedback, we are going to improve the quality. So in today's, most of the companies are using Agile model only. So if we use the Agile model, so we will not get the any issues from the customer. So before that, companies used to use the waterfall model and VLB model. So if we use those models, we have seen what are the problems we need to face and all. So to overcome all the problems, so now most of the companies, if you see any software company, so now most of the companies will use in the Agile model. So in the real software projects also, this will work in the same way. We'll see the Agile life cycle. So first one is the requirement. So requirements means gathering and prioritize what matters. And second is the product backlog. Create and maintain the prioritized backlog. Third is the sprint planning. So plan the work for the sprint. Fourth one is the sprint. Execute the plan and build the product. Second is the development. So design and build, implement the solution. So here we are going to build the good product. Second is the testing. So test to ensure the quality and find the issues. So here when developer gives the product to the tester, so tester will find the issues, whether the tester will improve the quality of the product. And then review. So I discussed review the work and gather the feedback. So based on the customer feedback, so we will think what we need to improve. The retrospective. reflect on what went well and what can be improved. So while doing the sprint, what we can going to improve next time. Release the product to the end users. So this is called as a agile life cycle. Now we'll discuss some agile interview questions. So what are the difference between Scrum and Agile? So how sprint duration and who owns the product backlog? What is daily Scrum duration? What is the story point means? What is the acceptance criteria? So if you are going for the any interview or if you are going to work for the any software company, so you should know the should know the agile model, how agile works, and what are the meetings we have, and how is the communication will be there. So in interview they'll ask how many meetings, what are the meetings, and you have to explain that in detail. So agile is the most important model in the software industries. So thank you for watching. Have a nice day.